Now, this is the before of the kitchen that I'm working on. And so you can see the bottom cabinets have been changed since the before photo. And here's a little bit of showing how the kitchen looks up to now. If you like kitchen renos, I do have a lot of videos of how I've changed this kitchen for the last year. And I normally do not like to paint wood. However, I do not like the orangey wood that was popular in the 80s. And I do like having kitchens that are a little bit lighter colors, fresh feeling, and cheerful. So the bottom cabinets, I did sand and then I used a gel stain on them to make them darker. And these kitchen cabinets have been in the house since the late 70s or early 80s. My parents bought this house, I believe, in 1976. And the cabinets that were here before were all metal, actually, which I find very interesting. So I purchased the house from my parents, and then I decided that I wanted the kitchen to be cleaned up a little bit. And so I started flipping furniture and using my Surf Prep sander, which I'm using in this video right now, to get all of the stain off. Now, I know a lot of furniture flippers and people who do their own work like to use stripper, and I only use stripper if the paint is very thick. I will use stripper and then use a carbide steel scraper to get off of the paint. But this is only one layer of stain, so it's pretty easy to take it off. After I sanded it down, I used this paint, which I've used before in previous videos, and it's actually wall paint that we purchased for the ceilings of our living room and dining room. It's a matte color, which I like a lot. And so far, we have done 2 other cabinets in the kitchen, and it's holding up very well. So I'm using the exact same process that I did on the other 2 cabinets on this one as well. So what I do is I sand it and then I paint it, and then I use a small little paintbrush to get around all of the corners. After everything dries, which it dries incredibly fast, right now it's warm weather, I then use wax. So here you can see the color of the wood, and you can see in the corner how much it's been used. So when you have cabinets that get used a lot, you have to, keep them up. So anyway. So I am sanding only one side and the sides of it, like the corners. I am not doing the side that faces inwards because you don't see it. I do scuff it up a little bit, and I put on some wax to make it smell good and to keep fingerprints off. But in all, I'm not doing the side of the cabinet door that you can't see. So now here's how I whitewash. I use the paints and then I wash it off with water. And it's really great this way because you can make the color of the depth of the white as you see fit. So if you want it darker, you don't rub it off so much. You want it lighter, you rub it off more. It's very, very easy. On the sides, I did not rub it off so much because I didn't mind if they were lighter. You cannot see them very well. And now I have a fine grit sandpaper that I am just making it all very smooth. And after I do this, it feels like butter. It's really, really nice. Now I'm using Dixie Belle White Wax, first of all. And this is actually a really nice product, but I also am using Fusion Liming Wax to see if there is even a difference. Now, when I put these both on, I cannot see a difference at all in how they look. The Fusion Liming Wax spreads like butter, and that's what they say on their container, and I totally agree. I believe Fusion is from Canada, and so it costs a little bit more for me to ship it to Washington State. After I sanded it, I wiped it off, and then I put the wax on, and now I'm buffing it. Now, the next part, I'm using this Fusion matte top coat, and I have used it before, and I love it. So what I do is I put a little bit of paint in with the top coat, and I use the little blue sponge, and you moisten the sponge first, and then you dip it into the top coat mixed with the paint, and it is so nice. There's not any streaks, and yeah, it's really easy, and it washes out really easily. I've used this sponge probably 5 or 6 times, and as long as you wash it out really well, it comes out great. Then I used a small little detail brush to get around the rims of the cabinets, and I used more of the Fusion top coat because this is for really heavily used areas. So every time you put something in and out of the cupboards, you want to make sure that if it hits the paint, it doesn't, chip off. And yeah, it works really well. So I put about, I think, 3 layers of the top coat that was mixed with the white. And when you see the final version, it's not 100% done. We are going to put up a black towel rack where the old one used to be, but we want it to be straight, not in a hoop. So you can see how it looks before. There's a hoop on the right. And here is how it looks afterwards. And probably in about a month or 2, I will wax this again with a glossier wax. I'm not really a fan of the matte, but my husband thinks it looks great. I just like that it looks a lot cleaner than the way it used to look. So I think that this turned out really well. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I do a lot of projects around my house and flipping furniture. Here's how it looked before and after. Yay, I'm very happy. Have a great day. Bye-bye.